Everyone, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about a conversation that I had recently with a friend about making plans for the future and how I've kind of in my own life, not saying that everyone should stop doing this or everyone should follow me, but in general, particularly for me, the way I've been living my life for the past few months, and I think in the future that's how I'm going to be doing it, is that I've kind of stopped making plans for the future. I used to be the kind of person, and you guys probably heard me over the last 3 years, that I used to make plans about where I wanted to travel to, what I wanted to do, what kind of books I wanted to publish, or the places I wanted to visit, with the people kind of that I wanted to visit with, and my financial goals. I used to have a lot of goals in each area of my life. I have like 5 goals in each area, and sub goals and minor goals, major goals, things like that. And I used to do all of that, and I did that for years on end. Not that I'm saying that I achieved all those goals or that I was able to fulfill any of my desires or all of them. But, I did achieve some, I didn't achieve a lot. And, I used to make the goals. Sometimes I'd forget about them. Sometimes I'd write them down. Sometimes I wouldn't write them down. But in general, I've noticed for the past year at least that none of the plans that I've been kind of making have actually come to fruition. Not in the fact that they didn't turn out, that my life hasn't turned out the way I expected it to, but in that the universe in general had a different idea for me, has had many different ideas for me. And so, I'd make a plan and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then the universe would be sitting there thinking, yeah, I don't think so. And I have another plan for you. And so it would put that plan into place and put that plan into practice. And I'd be sitting there thinking, oh, I guess we're not doing my plan, not realizing that the universe had an alternate plan for me. And this happened over and over again. And at first, I would be frustrated by the fact that my plans were not going through. And I was spending so much time planning, and I was spending so much time thinking and reflecting and like, all right, this is what I wanted to do, and this is how I wanted to go, and things like that. And then it wouldn't come to fruition, and I'd be like, okay, what the hell? What the what the H? I spent so much time thinking about this. I spent so much time on it. Why isn't it working out the way it's meant to be? It will work out actually perfectly well, and perhaps sometimes better than it was supposed to be, than my plan would have, obviously, because the universe knows better. But in my mind, I was thinking, well, why isn't it working out the way why isn't the universe wanting me to live the life that the way I wanted to live it? Of course, as I said, it wanted me to live a better life. So, a lot of times I wouldn't do one thing, but I would end up doing something else and it would be much better. But in my mind, I'm always thinking, oh, my plan didn't work out. And so I started realizing little by little that I don't actually want to make plans anymore, because a lot of times, almost every single time, especially over the last couple of years, last year especially, and the last few months especially, none of my plans are actually coming out as I expect them to. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not making plans at all, like I'm not doing anything, any kind of reflecting, but in general, major plans, like the big plans about where am I going to travel to, where am I going to go, like how much money do I want to make, or how much am I going to save, all of the big ones, like the really big pieces of it, of the puzzle, I'm kind of leaving it up to the universe mostly. I will make a plan on, I'm going to, like little things like, okay, I want to go out for dinner with a friend, so I'm going to make dinner plans, or I want to take this course, so I'm going to enroll for it, or things like that. Of course, I will definitely do. But in general, right now, as I'm sitting here in Toronto, I have no idea what's going to happen over the next few months. Not, mostly the rest of the population doesn't either. But maybe some people are actually still making plans. They're still like, okay, I'm going to put this much into my retirement, or, this is where I'm going to, once the quarantine's done, then this is where I'm going to travel to. I know a lot of my girlfriends are already like making plans on what they're going to do once the quarantine or once the lockdowns in their countries end, where they're going to travel, what they're going to do, what they're going to eat, things like that. And perhaps I do have some plans about things that I want to eat. There's a couple of places I want to go visit in Toronto, but besides that, really nothing else. So I was kind of thinking about why this is the case. and why is this kind of working out the way it supposedly is. And at first I was thinking that, I'm kind of letting go. And that's especially true for sure compared to where I was in the past. I'm meditating a lot more, and I'm kind of giving up a lot of control over to the divine will, or to the universe, whatever you want to call it, that source. And they know better, and I know I don't know as well as them. And so they have some plans for me, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm just going to go along with that. And I noticed that when I do go along with it, when I just go along with the flow and I don't really force things to happen a certain way, or I don't really, I don't grip, I don't hold on to things, I just let go, I notice that things go easier. It goes much faster. And so I've been trying that, and I think it's because of obviously that I'm letting go, and because the universe is giving me signs and signals, and my intuition's growing more powerful. But I also realize there's a second aspect to it, and the reason why I'm not doing much more, a lot of long-term planning, is because I think, and I have this premonition or this intuition, that a lot of the planning that we're doing right now for 5-10 years down the road are going to be highly disrupted by the fact that this is just the first pandemic of many, and the fact that global warming is still coming, and the effects of that is going to be is going to take place as well, and it's going to be much more than any pandemic could ever, and much more effect than any pandemic could ever have on the world. And in general, we're kind of moving towards a world where a lot more chaos is going to ensue, rather than the kind of peaceful era that we've been in right now since the World War II, mostly peaceful. And so in general, not to be, and I'm not being negative here, I'm not really being like, oh my god, the world is going to shit, you have to be careful. I actually believe that anything can happen, really. I might be thinking, oh, this is what's going to happen, but who knows? Well, things might change. We might get a interesting new president in the U.S. and things might go for the positive, and China might forgive all debts. Who knows? A lot of different things could happen in the future. And so things could go into the positive direction, or they could go in the negative direction. In general, though, as I sit here and I think about, okay, what plans do I want to make for the future, and how do I want the next 5 to 10 years to look like, I really, in my head, have an idea that I shouldn't even bother with those plans, because really, as I said, the chaos that's going to ensue from all the different things that are going to happen, that they'll make sure that any plans that we make are going to be completely useless anyways. Now, though, mostly not even just plans about travel, obviously, or job security, a lot of that stuff is going to go out the window, but also in terms of retirement planning, a lot of the money that people are putting into retirement, who knows what's going to happen with the stock market. Now, I have money in the stock market too, and I understand that. Same thing with real estate. A lot of people are putting money into it, and we don't know what might happen in the future with it. Now, of course, I hope that everything just stays peaceful, and we keep on getting better and better as humanity, and we're able to learn from our mistakes, and they're able to create a peaceful era where nothing is going wrong and everything is fine and dandy. But in general, as I look towards the world, and the fact that, as soon as chaos ensues, a lot of the people who are fragile and weaker and poorer and things like that are the ones who are more vulnerable, and they're the ones who are sacrificed first. A lot of that makes me think that we won't even have to worry about population in the future, because a lot of that population, which is weaker and more fragile and has more challenges, are going to be eliminated, because we won't be able to take care of them. It just, in terms of the structure of things, we won't be able to give enough resources to take care of them, because of the fact that we won't have enough resources to even just take care of the people who can take care of themselves. So these are some of the ideas that I've been thinking about. And I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the future? A lot of it could turn out to be a science fiction novel. Maybe we get visited by aliens from the outer space or things like that. Who knows, right? But in general, as I said, I'm kind of keeping it very simple for myself, and really keeping it in a way where I just want to live day to day as much as possible. Or even just, if I'm going to make plans, I'm making plans a month or 2 months in advance, maybe 4 to 5 months max. But beyond that, I'm trying to make sure that I keep it as simple as possible and go along with the flow of things, because really I've noticed that none of my plans have been coming true at all. And in fact, almost every single plan that I've made in the last few months has been changed. I would say in the last year and a half has been changed drastically. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I guess there's no point making plans anymore, at least for me. And this is my perspective. Now, of course, I'm doing this video because I want to hear from you guys. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are still making plans. Obviously, you're still, living your lives and planning for the future and thinking that you're going to do this someday or do that some other day. And so I'd love to hear your perspective on it, and what do you guys think? Like, are you, obviously you're positive or hopeful about the future, or are you not? And, are you just making plans because that's just the way to go about it? What do you guys think about it? What do you think about planning for the future, like 5 to 10, 20 years in the future? Do you think there's even a point to doing all that, or you think that there's definitely a point and it's going to work out perfectly fine? Again, message me or comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, obviously comment below and I shall do a follow-up video. Again, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.